to Facebook. All right, fingers crossed this works this time. All right, we want to do it. Yay. Getting there. It's doing something this time at least.
We're just trying to get on the live stream. For those who are catching this on a recording after the fact, we're just setting up the live stream before we get going.
I'm sorry for my annoying tapping sound.
So you get a double welcome if you're watching this on a recording.
Just giving us a title one here because it is required.
Technology is wonderful, but sometimes it's a little slow.
Yes.
A lot of little pieces, moving pieces.
All right, now where do I start? Okay. Here we go. Okay. Almost there. We might be there. Let me check on Facebook. Oh, there we are. Okay.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, whenever it is that you're listening to us. This is Reverend Marianne. I'm joined by my esteemed colleague, Reverend Jamie, and welcome to another edition of Sunday Morning Grace. This is the December 13th edition of 2020. We're getting there, guys. We're almost done with 2020.
Oh, so close.
Good morning, Jamie. How are you today?
I am good, and we're on, it's, I guess, happy solar eclipse eve, because why not throw some more in there? So, in case you guys are feeling a little extra sensitive or heightened energy, tomorrow is the solar eclipse. So hang in there, as Marianne was saying, we're almost there.
So today our topic is being the light. But before we get to our topic and Jamie and my discussion, we'll start as we always do with an opening blessing, followed by the prayer that Jamie so beautifully shared a few months ago and that has become part of our monthly ritual. So as you can, I would ask you just to please close your eyes and just be in your space. There's no one, there's nothing around you that needs your attention right now. Be. Just know that you are secure in where you've planted your butt or where you've planted your feet, and that the ground is beneath you is solid. It is supporting the full weight of you. And that's exactly what we trust that the universe does for us. It supports our full weight. And that then allows us to be supports for someone else. And I'm getting the image of my grandfather holding me on his lap. And he was secure sitting in his chair in the corner of my grandmother's room. And he was secure in his seat, and I was secure in his lap. And he held on to me from the time I was an infant. And he supported me, and he loved me. And that's exactly what is happening to us in our universe. if we will just allow ourselves to be and trust we are supported, we can then be that foundation, that love, that light for others. And that is what we're going to talk about today, and learning how to strengthen our foundation. The angels want us just to sit for a minute in that feeling of being, of knowing all is okay at this very moment. Even if chaos is going on around you, you can be. You are strong, you are supported, you are loved, and your foundation is not wavering at all. It is secure. Trust it, know it, hold on to it, and build on it. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And know you are always, always, always loved. And always, always, always called on to spread your love, that love you receive, outward to strengthen other foundations. As you're ready, bring yourself back to this time, this space, and let's begin our discussion.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
All right, Jamie, do you want to walk us through our prayer?
Absolutely. So again, just staying in that beautiful space that Marianne has opened for us as we come together today. And we read, O divine creator, keeper of my higher power, I humbly ask that you help me to hear through your attentive ears, see with your clear vision, touch and feel with your gentleness, speak with your non-judgmental tongue, and embrace and welcome all with your loving and accepting heart. Blessed be.
Blessed be. All right. So today we are talking about being the light. And that opening blessing that I received really seemed to focus on being as well as love and light. And I love the image that came forth of my grandfather. My grandfather was deaf, and he lost his hearing as he got older in life. So he was a hearing person. He knew sound. But by the time I was born, he was deaf. And it was very, very depressing for him. He also had had a head injury, which is what caused his deafness. So his head was larger than usual. But he was such a gentle man. And they had a chair, I think probably typical grandparents. They didn't change their room around. It was always the same. And actually, when my mother inherited the house and brought her furniture in, she still set it up the same way. But my grandfather's chair was a chair that was in the corner, and it was always like a big armchair. And he would sit and he would do this with his fingers all day long because he couldn't hear. So he would twiddle his thumbs. But when I sat on Papa's lap, it was a firm, firm, firm foundation. And I always felt loved. And even as I got older, he would walk with me to the store, and I would hold his hand. He was always that firm support for me. And in that case, my grandfather, my Papa, was being my light. He was showing me the way to move forward in a way that I never felt scared. We crossed busy streets. He couldn't hear. When we were going to the store, he had no hearing, but I was always safe with him. And I think that's part of what being the light for someone is It's giving them that safe space. It's making them feel loved and secure and comforted, but always knowing that there is that safety, and it's, I'm here for you. I'm holding space for you. And we don't think about parents and grandparents being light for us. We think of them as being our mentors, our teachers, but they are being, in the most basic of senses, being our light and helping us move forward. So how do we take that then and move it to our everyday muggle world, especially in 2020, where we're living in a pandemic and we're living in such a divided world where we don't always agree on things, and we don't even always agree to disagree respectfully and civilly. And we don't always want to hear another person's point of view, and it's my way or the highway. How can we be the light? So that's a question I pose to each of you listening. And Jamie, I think probably a question that we can explore a little further. And I want to give you a chance to share what the topic meant to you, and then see if we can gather together for some comprehensive thoughts.
Yes, yes. Yeah, when I had found out what the title was, my immediate thing, because this is what I've been practicing. So I'm practicing what I preach today. But I've just been so much about what I call the meantime, which is kind of, now, no matter what, where you are in this moment. But I call it the meantime because I feel that we all just want to get the freak out of here. We just want it to be done. We want, to find some kind of normal, and it doesn't have to be the old normal, but just some kind of comfort, some kind of knowing. And we're really being put in a place where we have no control. And, it's everything changes from one day to the next, sometimes more often and frequently than that. So again, just staying in that place of that being. And for me, it's very, just doing my best to find joy in the meantime, but also accepting when I'm not feeling joyful in the meantime, because, I feel there are times, and I think this is the biggest thing for me in my being right now as I practice this, is knowing when to hold on, knowing when to let go, knowing when to be with what I'm feeling versus this is just my mind, trying to tell me otherwise. So it's really been a time of also taking leaps of faith in the right time, not necessarily leaping into chaos out of what we're feeling in the moment, but really allowing ourselves the time, a moment to pause and breathe. And if opportunities come or things are happening that are making us really uncomfortable, again, I say it a lot, but not, responding emotionally, just taking that moment so that we take deliberate action. And it's been a big, big thing for me. And, even with my work journey, I'm sorry, my dog is making noise. I was in a job I was miserable at. But I didn't leave. I stayed because I knew my guidance. No matter how miserable I felt, I was still there for a reason. Then I got offered the new job. So it was like getting out of that energy and getting into a healthy work environment. It felt really good, but I just knew, like, this is great. Like, the job's great. The money's better. Did not like the hours. I hated the hours, if I'm being honest. But it was like, okay, you know what? If that's the trade-off to be in a healthy environment, fine, it's worth it. But I still kept feeling like there was more, like something else was coming. But again, rather than leaping, right, and trying to create what I knew was coming, I just did my best, just like, fine. And this is where I had to shift my perspective and get out of my head, because I could tell you how much I hated my hours all day, every day. But rather than that, I just really focused on being grateful. Again, focusing on all the positives, focusing on my patients when they came in. And it could be hard because, again, living in COVID times and working, going from the food industry into healthcare and being exposed to so many people. And when we would have phone calls, you know, that, oh, I can't come in, I've been exposed, I have to quarantine. Like, it's still, it like that sends a feeling through you that's just like, oh, like, and I just knew I didn't want to be in that. So I just kept focusing on what I wanted, being open to the, you know, whatever would come. And whew, thank you, universe. I was offered out of nowhere last weekend a job that I have been like, I call my realistic dream job, like finally manifested for me. And although I did not attach to the outcome, I got like the exact outcome that I wanted. Like that, and if I couldn't write it any better, you know, but I really attribute part of that to just being in the meantime, you know, just being my light and the expression that it needed to be, not beating myself up if my light wasn't shining as bright some days. Because if you think about it, a flame, sometimes it's big, sometimes it's little, it's always there. But again, not beating myself up if I wasn't the big shining flame that day, because I was processing. And I think we're all in this place of process and transition, of growth. And it's 2 step forwards, 1 step back. And even as we take on any new habit form, new thought process, breaking, you know, patterns and generational, you know, cycles and curses, or, you know, whatever it may be for you, to know that everything is a process. So there are going to be those big, you know, those moments of momentum that push us forward. And then there's the, you know, the contraction, the expansion and the contraction. And in those moments that we contract, honoring that and being in that as you're meant to be. Again, we don't need to dwell, but if it takes you a week or two, like you just need to really just chill and take care of you and only do the bare minimum, then do that. And I really think a big part that we're all missing right now, or I feel like in our being, is we're not being compassionate with ourselves. And it's because we're so frustrated, you know, and we're getting, you know, a lot of people are getting to a space of burnout. Again, we can't even hear others' opinions. We can't even laugh at them anymore if they sound crazy to us. You know, most people, you know, if they don't agree, they just come for the attack. It's like everybody's in attack mode. And I feel like we're losing compassion, which again, I feel that even if we just started being more compassionate with ourselves, it allows us to have that pause, to be more compassionate for another. And when we're able to be in those moments of compassion, I just feel like that anchors us more deeper into our being right
now. Yeah, I think there's a lot of points that you made that are so really valid. And the first one is that to be the light doesn't mean that we have to be the spotlight. It means that we have to really walk our talk. And it means when our light is dim, acknowledging through our actions that we may not be feeling quite right, or we may know that what we're the place we're at the moment is not the exact right place, but modeling that behavior, whether it be for our children, the people we come in contact with, I am going to be happy. I am going to find the silver lining in this moment. And it may not be the perfect moment. It may not be the right moment. It may not even be the place I have ever dreamed of being, but I'm going to trust that being here is going to move me forward to the next. And I am going to make the best of it. I am going to learn from it. And I am going to grow as a result of it. And sometimes being in that place, that uncomfortable or unpleasant or undesired place, can get us to the next place. And we need the experiences. We have to trust that there is a plan. And if we keep following the breadcrumbs, and sometimes those breadcrumbs keep us at a place a lot longer than we want to be. But if we trust and we follow the breadcrumbs, constantly laying the seeds for the next, we will ultimately achieve, as in your case, a job that you would have if somebody had said, manifest the perfect job right now, it's the job you would have manifested, but we're almost afraid to dream about. But by kind of paying your dues, so to speak, and following the opportunities that were laid before you, you were able to achieve that, because it had to be the right time. And maybe you wouldn't have appreciated the place you're at right now had it not been for everything that happened prior to.
And I have to tell you, and how appreciated I am. And I just wanted to throw this in because I didn't even think of it until you started talking just now. Like, it's funny because the one thing, like, everybody that I work with is so, like, they're like, oh, like, they're ecstatic. Like, and they're all friends of mine because I've been around this, the community forever. They're friends of mine that, like, I genuinely talk to pretty much a few times a week, if not daily. But in that, my boss said to me, she's like, I just want to thank you. And I was like, why are you thanking me? She's like, I cannot tell you how much relief and how good I feel just knowing you're here. She's like, I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. She's like, you're anchoring. She's like, you're such an anchoring energy. And all I did was show up being me, So I think it's just part of that too. When I just show up being me and just, and I stay in gratitude because I have had some stinking thinking try to pop up, so I just counter it with anytime I have a bad thought, because I know it's old fears talking, that it's too good to be true. So I'm just like, how does it get better than this? How does it get better than this? But it just felt really good to just show up me and see that when I be, and that's kind of a role I feel I may play for people in life, as I am more just that anchor. I'm that safety net. I'm just very grounding energy for people. So it just, even in that, just being in my being and being praised and thanked for simply being an anchor, like, which I'm not downplaying, but it's just like, you don't even realize when you just allow yourself to be you, what you're actually doing for people, and the relief or the love or whatever it may be that you're bringing by being your being.
And that's true. And we all have different strengths and we all have different weaknesses. And when we come being ourselves, that is a light for somebody else, because I come being me, bearing my strengths. You come bearing your strengths. And together, our weaknesses are balanced out, our strengths are balanced, and we can jointly be a light for others. And so when you show up authentically you to a place, and I show up authentically me, the people around us can take and build on our strengths, and we can do the same for them. They can use our strengths to balance their weaknesses, and together we can be a light. And I know I'm equating light and foundation, but to me today that feels, and yesterday I don't know if I would have put those two words together, but I'm feeling that that's very important for whoever is watching and listening today, that foundation equates with light. And maybe it's so that they can understand that it's not that we're walking around with this aura and people are going, oh, here comes Reverend Marianne, or here comes Marianne in my muggle life. But it's that being around me just brings some sense of comfort. Or after they've left me, they say, wow, that was really a very positive encounter. Whether it was, I heard you, I said something that made you feel really good, in other days, and hopefully in future days, I gave you a hug that felt really good. Whatever it happens to be. That is my goal, is and I think it's everybody's goal. We all want to be liked. And I don't like conflict at all. But yes, we all strive to be liked. But beyond being liked, I want to feel that any experience, any encounter you had with me, I left you feeling better. I left you feeling stronger. I left you feeling more comfortable. I left you feeling loved and appreciated.
And that is exactly what you do for me. Y'all don't know, Marianne's the first one I run to. If anything big happens in my life, I go directly to Marianne. I go straight to Marianne because I know she's going to be there for me and she's going to love me and she's not going to judge me. And she's just this container of compassion and love and gentleness and mama. Please don't think that she will not let me know about my but I love it. And I love, and it's like, I'm listening to you say this and it's like, it's everything that you are. It's, and it does, Marianne has a lot going on in her world. And like, you would never know it though. And not to be phony or fake or anything like that. I mean, she'll share, but like, if you come to these programs, you may not be aware. Sometimes we talk about things that are happening, but because like, this is Marianne, like she just is all of that. And like, you just come here and you hear her and you just like so yummy and just warm. I love it. I love it.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you. That is not what I shared, but I do feel that it's really, really important for people who may be new to us to understand, we throw around these words a lot and they have multiple meanings. And it really is what it means to you inside too. Everybody has a different interpretation of what being the light means. And so there's no better time than this, I guess, to encourage you, if you are watching this and you have something to share, whether you're watching it live because we're streaming on Facebook now, or whether it's, you're catching the recording through YouTube or on our Facebook page, whatever, feel free to reach out and let us know whether what we're sharing with you is one, impactful, if it's meaningful to you. And if you have a different interpretation of being the light, we choose topics on a monthly basis that all of our different presenters share with you their interpretations. But we're always open to hearing how it impacts you. If you agree, you disagree, you have an alternative view. So this is your forum too. So, and we do this not for us, we do this for you. This is our service to you. So invitation always, so I say it today, but I mean it next month too. Always, please share your feedback. It's beneficial to us, and we can then set future programming that is meaningful to you.
I agree. And I love to see that sometimes people get afraid to post if they don't agree or have different perspectives, but we love that because it also, you might show something, like I love to see different perspectives. And I feel like that also too, like helps us be able to relate to each other better. It doesn't mean we can agree to disagree. We can maybe not understand each other, but if we understand the places that we're coming from or points of views or perspectives, I feel like that allows us, again, that opening for more compassion or more understanding, even if we don't get it. Like, we don't have to. It's not for us to get it. It's yours, and that's part of what makes you you and your being, right? So
exactly. And that's what being the light means. It means being a torchbearer. And I'm coming from my point of view, from my experiences in my life. You are going to bring your experiences, and I may not agree with you. You may not agree with me, but we can agree to hear each other and your perspectives. I may shift my perspective. You may shift yours. We may never shift, but it gives me, and I am a perpetual student in the school of life. And I believe we all should be that perpetual student in the school of life, because as we learn from each other, there are things that, just like algebra, I don't use algebra today, but knowing algebra may help me if I'm doing something tomorrow. And hearing your perspective and your experiences is a lesson I may never need, but you never know. A month from now, I may encounter somebody in your situation, and having heard your point of view, I will then be able to be more helpful and supportive of them. Mm-hmm. So yes, absolutely, Jamie. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. There is a way to respectfully disagree. Mm-hmm. And that's what we encourage, is respectful dialogue for each other. I will respect your point of view if you respect mine. And if you don't, we just block you.
Yeah, it's like, you come too much. We do have boundaries, but we're very open-hearted and open-minded people. But
and if you have questions about what we've shared, feel free to keep that discussion going with us too. You don't know. You may be asking a question that you feel is silly. And somebody else may say, oh, I'm so glad they asked it because I was embarrassed too. Mm-hmm. So you may be helping more people than you realize. So please, 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 we encourage you to make this a dialogue. Yes. I'm feeling somewhat complete. Are you?
I am too. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody, do we have any comments on the Facebook?
No, but we have viewers, so hi.
We have what?
We have some viewers, but they're being quiet today.
Okay, so that's fine. As long as I say, we just want people to know that they have the opportunity to be interactive with us in some way right now. But we look forward to hearing feedback later.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I just want to apologize if you guys see me a lot when we're doing this and I'm looking down. It's because I need to invest in a phone holder. I'm checking Facebook. I'm watching the Facebook for comments from my phone. So please do not think I'm disconnecting or detaching from you. I just need a phone holder.
The joys of technology. I know we are, we've got multiple devices going to keep us on track. So I think we're ready to move into our tenants. So let me pull that up on the screen here for us all. And hopefully you can see that. So you can follow along. And Jamie, you can get us started.
I sure will. All right. So just asking you guys again to just drop into that beautiful energy that we opened with. Placing your hand over your heart if it feels right for you. And just taking a nice deep breath in. And letting it out. And just really allowing these words, these tenets, to fill your being and embody yourselves. I open my heart with deep gratitude and intend today to master my spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical energies. I am dedicated to my spiritual practice. I surrender to my soul's purpose through sacred prayer. I own my guidance.
I live in partnership with my angels. I serve with a loving heart. I am compassionate in every moment.
I trust it's all good. I allow immediate forgiveness. I honor my truth.
I listen to the spiritual messages within my physical body. I express myself creatively. I am one with Mother Earth, and so it is.
So it is. O divine creator, keeper of my higher power, I humbly ask that you help me to hear through your attentive ears, to see with your clear vision, touch and feel with your gentleness, speak with your non-judgmental tongue, and embrace and welcome all with your loving and accepting heart. Blessed be.
Blessed be. And I think this is probably a good place to leave it. To thank you all for joining us today and for welcoming us into a bit of your day And we look forward to seeing you next month. In the meantime, Carolyn and Reverend
See you
Carolyn.
in 2021, people.
Reverend Carolyn and Reverend Dawn will be around next week to share with you their impressions and their thoughts on being the light. And we look forward to welcoming and celebrating a new year filled with hope and love and joy.
And there's so much. Yeah, because we won't see you guys until next year. So happy Hanukkah, happy solstice, Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa. Forgive me if I'm missing anything. And most of all, a happy and blessed and prosperous and abundant new year.
Yay! We should have confetti.
Right.
And after the year we've had, we deserve confetti. Actually, I'm looking at my angel here with her butterfly confetti.
Yeah. So I have a smile. I have balloons, and you have confetti.
There you go. We're celebrating. So, yes. Lots of wonderful things on the horizon. And in the meantime, we hold each other, we support each other, we love you, and if you need us, please reach out. Let us serve you. Yeah. And let us be. We want to. Yes. All right. Well, bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.